Hey, what's going on, guys? I've got a 2006 Honda Civic here, and I'm going to use this car to show you the important fuses and relays for the operation of your cooling fans, your radiator fan, your AC condenser fan. So there's actually a total of 5 fuses and 3 relays that are involved in these fans' operation. So let's get right into it. I'm first going to head inside the car. There's one fuse here that is important for that system. And the role of this fuse is to provide power that helps the relays to engage. So that's going to be the fuse right here at position 36. So if this fuse is blown, the relays will not operate properly, and therefore the fans will not come on. Now let's move under the hood. That's where we will find the remaining 4 fuses and the 3 relays. So they're all behind this cover here, which we remove by pushing in on the tab here and lifting up. Now there are 2 more fuses that provide power for the relay's operation, and that's going to be this 15 amp fuse right here, as well as this 7.5 amp fuse right there. So a good starting point is to look at those. Now there are 2 larger fuses here and here that provide power to the fans themselves through the relays. So the fan on the driver's side, that's called the radiator cooling fan, and it receives power from this fuse in this position here. You'll note this one is a 30 amp J-case fuse. If this Civic had a manual transmission, this would instead be a 20 amp J-case fuse. Why they went with a different amperage fuse for the manual model, I have no idea. If you know, please chime in. Now the other fan on the passenger side, that one right there, that is known as the AC condenser fan. And that gets its power from this 20 amp J-case fuse. The relays for these are all right here. We've got our radiator fan relay, we've got our AC condenser fan relay, and our fan control relay. My favorite way to troubleshoot relays is to tap on them while I have the engine running. If after you tap on the relays, the fans start to turn over, that's a pretty good indication that one of the relays may have been stuck and should be replaced. Another troubleshooting step you can do is you can remove the relay and you can swap it around. So here I'm swapping my radiator fan relay into my AC condenser fan spot. So if after I make that switch, if the AC condenser fan starts to work, then I know that the original relay was probably no good. Now, a little more into detail about the operation of these relays and why there are 3 of them. So the fan on this side, on the passenger side, the AC condenser fan, that's the simplest system. When this relay engages, it sends power to that fan, and that's it. The fan will kick on. That's as simple as it gets. Now, this fan is a little more complicated because while it receives power from my radiator fan relay here, the fan control relay here can switch the way this fan is grounded. So if only my radiator fan relay engages, what that does is it sends power to my radiator fan, and then this fan is grounded through my other fan. So that will result in both fans spinning, but at a lower speed. Now, if my radiator fan relay engages and my fan control relay engages, what that does is it sends full ground to this fan. So it will cause only this fan to spin, but at a higher speed. Looking at the fans themselves, let's say you've checked all your fuses and relays and you can't find any issues. I always start by just grabbing the fan blades and see if they spin freely. Sometimes it's real obvious if you have a messed up fan because the fan blade will just be seized. If you can't turn it by hand, you should just plan on replacing it. Beyond that, if you can turn it by hand, what I suggest, you can try tapping on the back of the motors. Sometimes these motors can have bad connections inside of them, and if you do a tap test on it and then the motor starts to turn over, then that motor is, on its way out and should be replaced. You can also disconnect the connector. So there's one here. If you measure power between these 2 terminals, but the fan is not turning, then you know that the fan is no good. And the other connector is here. So yeah, I hope that this information was helpful for you and was a good starting point in troubleshooting the cooling fans on your Honda Civic. If you have any questions about the radiator fan or the AC condenser fan, or more importantly, if you have any advice about troubleshooting these systems, please let us know. And thanks for watching.